What's going on, everybody? It's me again, Golden Blue Dude, and if you haven't already, don't forget to go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button right now. I do videos every single day. Now, I don't do a lot of West Virginia videos, but I am a West Virginia fan, so I have to do some. Forewarning, this is a West Virginia video. Now, I've done several videos in the past on my opinion on ways that we can expand capacity at Mountaineer Stadium, the home of West Virginia, also known as Mountaineer Field. Got a lot of blowback, like we couldn't fill it, or the parking, or the traffic would be bad. All those problems can be solved. We came up against that exact same issue way back in 1980 whenever we created the new current stadium. So of course, before the stadium that we all know now, there was old Mountaineer Field. It held 38,000. That was a lot for back then, for West Virginia. The problem was, the thing was falling apart. In fact, it was facing condemnation. Before I go any further, special thanks to John Antonick and Kevin Barry. They did a live stream the other day with a lot of this information. Go check that out. Great information. I'll try to have the link to that in the description of this video. The old Mountaineer Field, 38,000, falling apart. They had two options, either renovate old Mountaineer Field or build a new stadium. And at first, new stadium, no, bad idea. You know, they liked the spot that current stadium was in. You know, the tradition, the history there, wanted to keep it. Everybody was in favor of that. But really, it was a bad situation because of the positioning of the stadium. It's in a bad spot. Expanding it would have been very, very difficult. Plus, you would have had to renovate what was already there. Then, expanding on top of that, dang near impossible. And the reason I talk about expanding and the transition from old Mountaineer Field to the current stadium is success. There's a big difference of football success between old Mountaineer Field and the current stadium. Case in point, West Virginia was a bottom 15 football program as far as success in the nation before the new field and Don Nehlen. Remember, that came in a package. The new stadium came because of Don Nehlen, and Don Nehlen came because of the new stadium. It was a hand-in-hand type of thing. So before the new stadium and Don Nehlen, bottom 15 school in success, we were terrible. Laughingstock, laughable, in a bad conference. The Southern Conference had teams like Villanova, Temple, teams like that. So in comes Don Nehlen, and in comes new Mountaineer Field. Now, before Don Nehlen came in there, Bobby Bowden was the head coach, and he had visited Texas and had an idea of expanding old Mountaineer Field, putting another deck on one of the sides of the bottom bowl. And here's what it looks like. Doesn't look half bad, but compared to what we have now, it doesn't even compare. They got a $60 million bond through state legislation. $20 million of that was going to go towards a new stadium. Well, that wasn't enough, so they had to come up with ways to get more money. It got done. Now, whenever they were coming up with the ideas for this new stadium, they visited 4 other stadiums for stadium models. Kansas, thank the Lord that they didn't go with that model. Kentucky, that would have been bad. An NFL stadium, the Buffalo Bills, at the time named Rich Stadium. And then, of course, Jack Trice Stadium, home of Iowa State. People don't know this. Same contractor, same model, same renderings, same everything. We basically have the same stadiums before renovations, like at the base model. Here's what they look like side by side before renovations. Almost exactly the same. Of course, Jack Trice Stadium and Milan Puskar Stadium have gone in different directions as far as renovations. As you can see, looks completely different. Personally, as a West Virginia fan, I think our stadium looks better. I'm sure they think theirs look better. I'll let y'all be the judge of that. So the next time you go on a road trip to Ames, Iowa, Jack Trice Stadium, try to think of it as a second home, just with different fans. Because if you're sitting in that middle section on either one of those decks, that's the same exact design as what we have at Mountaineer Field. So pre-Don Nehlen, pre-new stadium, bottom 15 in school success in the nation. But post-Don Nehlen and post-new stadium, we are a top 30 school in success. Almost top 25. In fact, we are the most successful program without a national championship. This even contributes to the backyard brawl. For 1980, Don Nehlen, new stadium, Pitt owned this series. 49 wins for Pitt and 24 wins for West Virginia. Since the new stadium was built and post Don Nehlen, Pitt has 12 wins and West Virginia has 18. That's right, West Virginia actually has the lead in this series ever since we got this new stadium. In the very last backyard brawl that was played until 2022, West Virginia actually got the win, 21-20. And to throw salt on the wound, the last time the backyard brawl was played at Pitt Stadium, which was their on-campus stadium, West Virginia blew them out 34-0. So I think getting that new stadium was a very wise idea. Before the new stadium, West Virginia really hadn't beat anybody of notoriety. I mean, Pitt a few times when they had a bad team. But since the new stadium, West Virginia has beaten multiple high-caliber teams, including Pitt teams that were actually good. They also beat Penn State, Boston College, Oklahoma, Florida, Miami, Texas, and the list goes on. That's just to name a few. So this was a great investment. Whenever I get the blowback of expansion is a bad deal, I'm not trying to have a new stadium constructed. I don't think that's needed. But I do think that increased capacity is needed. We can't get stuck in our ways. If we would have got stuck in our ways back in 1980, we would have not had anywhere the success that we've had. Because since 1980, we've had 2 undefeated seasons, multiple conference championships, and 1 trip to the national championship. So yes, you cannot get stuck in your old ways. You have to be thinking forward. And I do think expanding seating capacity would be a big step forward. 60,000, not bad. And I'm not saying a 100,000 seat stadium like Texas. I'm saying maybe 10,000 more. A 70,000 seat Mountaineer Field would be even more intimidating. I think it would be great. And to me, the best way to do it would be either to enclose or partially enclose the side of the stadium where the weight room is. You could either fully enclose that with the smaller deck or partially enclose it with the thicker deck. Either way, you're adding capacity and you're trapping the noise even more. I think the traffic situation, the parking situation, all that can be figured out. Yes, it would take money, but that's how the world works. It takes money to build the things necessary to have more success. One question for you. Do you want to have more success? I do. You're gonna have to spend money to make that happen. Plain and simple. If you're sick of West Virginia merely being a stopping point for coaches, players, whatever the case may be, then you're going to have to invest some money to make people actually want to stay at West Virginia. I mean, my goodness, Rich Rodriguez, perfect case, from West Virginia, wanted to see West Virginia win the national championship, but guess what? West Virginia could not provide the money to keep him in his own home state. So we have to make some changes. We have to invest more money. So anyways, that's my ideas. Let me know what you think. That's all I got for you for this show. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll see you on my next show.